Hi, in today's class, let's see about a simple C++ class. A C++ class is an user-defined type. It has its own data members as well as member functions. So I'll proceed with an example so that it gives a clear picture of us about a C++ class. So let's create a class of student. So a class begins with the class keyword followed by the name of the class. That can be anything. In our case, we are creating a class of student. Okay, so we can create the objects for these class. For example, a student, if we consider, we can create many students. There can be a student 1, student 2, student 3. So there can be n number of students in any student class. So let us create a object student s1. Okay, this is just the outer skeleton of the class. So what does a class have? A class can have data members as well as member functions. For example, if we consider a student has his roll number, he has his total percentage. So we will include these two as our data members in our class student. We'll keep the roll number as an integer type and the marks also as an integer type. Okay, so now we have to retrieve these. To retrieve these we need methods. Okay, so our one method will be to get the roll number and the other one to get the percentage. So this is a method which gets the roll number. Within this we will just print the roll number. Roll number of this student is roll number. Okay, this is done. We will have another method which will just print out the percentage of the student. We will call the method as getPercentage, and within the method we will just print out the percentage. Okay, so this, whatever I've mentioned this as public, it means that whatever comes below this, it is all public. That is, these data members, these member functions are accessible even outside this class. So whatever is written here, these two are private, because by default the access specifier of a class in C++ is private, or I can even mention it explicitly. We don't want anyone accessing the roll numbers directly. So in this case we have made it as private. In this case we can also keep it as public, but if this is some secret class then we can make the data members as private, so that it is not accessible by any outside world. It can be accessible only by the data members of this class, that are these. Okay, so every class has a constructor, a destructor, a copy constructor, as well as an assignment operator. So we will create all these for this class. As I mentioned, the double slashes indicates the comments. Let me mention each of these. So constructor always has the same name as that of the class name. So that is student in our case, followed by open and close parenthesis and an open bracket. In this we are writing the body of the constructor. So we will just initialize. If nothing is specified, then the roll number of the student will be assigned to 0, and the percentage will also be assigned to 0. So now we should have another option in which the roll number and the percentage can be specified explicitly. So we should have a constructor with arguments passed to it, that is int roll number comma int percent. In this parameterized constructor, we will just assign these values passed in the arguments to the actual data members of this class. So these data members are assigned to the actual data members of the class. Okay, now this is done. So in our class we have created just one student. Let us go ahead and create more students of this class. We'll create a second student S2 and we will pass her roll number as 5 and her marks as 90%. Okay, we will create another student S3 who has a roll number of 10 and marks is 70%. So we have created 3 students altogether. This one will call the default constructor, that is this. It will have a roll number of 0 and percentage of 0, whereas the student S2 is a parameterized constructor. So it will call the parameterized constructor and it will assign the value of 5 and 90 to roll number and percentage respectively. Similar is the case with the student S3. So if we want to see the output, we will just see the output of one student. Just S2 dot get roll number. That is this student's roll number and marks. We will just print that out. So we are expecting the output as 5 and 90. I hope there are no errors in this, but just let us go through this. We have not mentioned our destructor, so in this case we will just have an empty destructor. See, for the copy constructor and the assignment operator, as well as the constructor and the destructor, the C++ compiler already provides a default constructor, destructor, copy constructor as well as an assignment operator. So if we don't want a parameterized constructor, we can leave this part out, but it's always better to have a constructor, destructor, copy constructor as well as an assignment operator. So now let's just compile this program. Okay, we have compiled without any errors. So let's just run this. See, it has printed the roll number of the second student as 5 and the percentage is 90. That's what we expected here. S2 dot roll number and S2 dot percentage. So we are fine. So every constructor also requires an explicit copy constructor as well as an assignment operator. So let me just show you that. Copy constructor. The syntax of a copy constructor is the name is same as that of a class name followed by open and close parenthesis. Within that we have to write class name and obj. This can be anything. This is basically we are passing an object to that class. Copy constructor is basically called when we are creating one object using another object. Okay, to fill this we'll just have the roll number of the new object will be the previous object's roll number. We are just assigning this object's roll number to the newly created object, and same with the percentage also. Just 1 equals here, not 2. Okay, this is this for the copy constructor. So now how a copy constructor will be called? In our case, just create another object, student S4. Okay, let us assume that the student S4 has the same roll number and percentage as S3. So we have to just copy the values of S3 to S4. In that case, a copy constructor will be called, that is student S4 equals S3. This calls for a copy constructor. So in this case, if I print the value of S4, it should print same as 10 and 70. We will compile it again and we will run it. See, the roll number of the student is 10 and percentage is 70. This is because we have copied the values of student S3 into S4. This statement calls a copy constructor. I should mention here that in the copy constructor syntax, the ampersand sign should not be missed, because if we pass S3 to this object without if we don't pass it through reference, then it will keep calling the copy constructor again and again, and there will be a stack overflow. So this object should always be passed by reference. So now let's decide the syntax of an assignment operator. We have void operator equals, assignment operator is always equals, of student %obj. Okay, this is similar to a copy constructor with a slightly different syntax. You can just copy this here. Okay, so when does an assignment operator gets called? An assignment operator gets called when an already created object is assigned to another object. Like for in this case, we are creating S4 and at that time only we are assigning it to S3. But if you want to call an assignment operator, you have to create an object in one line and have it assign the value of another object in another line. Okay, so if this is in a different line, then it will call the assignment operator. Okay, so this S5 should have the value of S3, and let us print here the value of S5. It should print 10 and 70. Okay, let us just compile and see this. Okay, we are compiling this. It has compiled without any errors. So now let's just run the program. Okay, it has printed the output. The roll number is 10 and percentage is 70. That is, we have printed S5. S5 is assigned with the value of S3, which calls the assignment operator. Okay, see, from the beginning we have created a class and we have two data members which are private, and we have a constructor, a parameterized constructor, a destructor, a copy constructor, an assignment operator, and we have two methods to retrieve the roll number as well as the percentage, and we have created so many objects of the student class. So that's it in this tutorial. In the next tutorial, I'll be going about some advanced features in the C++ class. So thank you for watching, and please like, share, subscribe on the video. Thank you.